Hi, it's Anne from The Useless Crafter. Today we are making a huge acrylic sign. Look how big this is. I believe this is 32 inches by 20. So this is a really big sign. We're gonna make a wedding sign for our favorite teacher. It's one of Charlotte's first teachers ever. So she's getting married, and so we wanted to give this to her. So I'm gonna show you how to make it. So the first thing is, you know, the downfall to one of these big signs or any signs is when your vinyl comes on and it's not straight, right? So what I did was, this, you know, again is 30 by 20. So I did not write the whole thing. What I did was I took a couple sections that would have all of the writing on there, so like a little bit of each line. And so we're gonna piece it together, lay it down underneath so that it is our guide. Once you put your vinyl on, you know, like any part of this, it will be straight because most of it will be aligned already. So what I did was, if you can see here, now I love the Cricut because what I did is after I made a duplicate of my my image because then I wanted to weld everything. And then what I did is I drew it. So I had the Cricut draw it, so it drew the lines so I could see where the lines go. And so like this is welcome. So we're gonna line this up and then we're gonna tape it. So, and what I did with this one is it did have a border over here, but I took a paper cutter and I cut it off so that I can make it flush and aligned with this first piece. So I think that looks good. And I don't have tape. Awesome. Give me just, oh, you know what? I do have tape. I can use washi tape. Okay. So once you're happy with your alignment, I would tape it down. And I'm almost happy with it. I feel like I'm off a little bit. There, that looks right. Okay. So we're gonna tape it down, and it kind of reminds me of off the mat a little bit. So what I did was I ended up slicing out 3 11.5 by 3, did I do 11.5? I did. 3 11.5 by 11.5. Or maybe I did 11. I'll have to go back and look at it, and then I'll do a tutorial for it. So, all right, so I have 3 pieces down, but the 3 pieces is gonna be the top 2 here and then 1 in the middle, and that will take care of all of the lines. In this case, I'm losing my head. So, okay, let me line this one up and I'll tape it and then you'll see what it says. Because this has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. It says, welcome to our wedding, and then the names, Mariella and Jesus, and then the date. So in my 3 squares, I have a piece of each one of the 4 lines. So by doing so, everything's gonna be lined up. Let me just tape this up, and then I think we're good. And again, it just reminds me of off the mat because you're slicing and then taping back together. And I'm gonna tape this really, really well because I wanna make sure that it's all lined up. Now her wedding, she told me, is gonna be a dark green and gold color. I really wanted to do a dark green paint with the gold lettering, but I felt like it would be really distracting if the green was just slightly off, and it's gonna be so hard to do that. So instead, what we're gonna do is I did gold lettering, and I'm gonna do white paint, and that way with the green foliage around, it will take into consideration her dark green, so it's matchy, but not too matchy. So, okay, so this is, I'll flip it around so you can kind of see. So, the lines should match up with the corner of my acrylic. And it says, welcome to our wedding, a part of her name, and the date. So you can see this covers most of it. I didn't need to write out all 6 blocks, okay? All right, so now what we wanna do is we wanna put this underneath And we basically want to align the acrylic to my corners, to my outline. And this looks easier, or it sounds easier than it really is. Because it's such a big piece of acrylic. So I'm just lining this up, and you're gonna have to trust me that it's lined up because you can't see my whole thing. Okay, so it's lined up, okay? So I'm just gonna take, you know, the little cloth that you get with your cell phone or sunglasses. We just peeled off the thing, so I'm not too worried about you know, so much dust or anything, but I just want to make sure I have everything. All right, so we have everything. So I'm going to do the smaller pieces first. I'm going to do the date. So I'm just going to get transfer tape. And man, I thought I was more prepared than this. Isn't that always the case? All right, so I'm going to cut off a piece, and let's just do, oops. I'm gonna do the date. And I feel like lining it up this way really beats lining it up any other way. Like with the red line that everybody, I have one of those things, but I feel like it's still, okay, I'm not completely happy with this, so I just wanna make sure. Okay, it feels like it's all aligned. Okay. So you want to take your and burnish this, right? Just make sure it sticks down to your transfer tape. And what I did was I used the gold metallic vinyl, which I love. It's so pretty. I have a maker. I cut it on metallic vinyl, and the pressure was extra, and I had to cut it twice. But once I cut it twice, I pulled it up, and it was so easy to weave. But it kind of makes me mad that I had to cut it twice, because I have a maker, for one. I used all Cricut products, and my blade's not dull, so it's like, why should I have to cut it twice, right? So here's the date. And so I'm just gonna line it up to my lettering, to my drawn image, and it should line up perfectly, which it is. And I just love doing it this way. It makes me feel so much better that I know it's lined up. The other way to ensure that you're lined up is that you cut each line together, right? For instance, like the names, I'm not gonna try to save space on the vinyl and, you know, chop up half her name and his name and then try to line it up. This way, this is already straight, and then you line it up with this, you should be good to go. So, okay, let's pull this up. It looks so good. Okay, and then let me go get to our wedding, because I think it's about the same size as this. And I'm gonna need a little bit more. This is not the time to scrimp on things. So I'm gonna add 2 more pieces and make sure that I get it all at one time. So there's that piece, and then this piece. All right, so I'm gonna make sure this all comes down and sticks to the tape. And when you're pulling it up, you just want to make sure that you pull this back all the way onto itself, and that way it's not competing with the sticky tape. It's still not, you know, I can't go super fast because it's still sticking to the original, but you can see it's still not bad though. And then what I like about these signs is it doesn't get a lot of wear and tear, so it's not like a lot of people are touching it, so you don't have to worry about the letters not sticking well. I mean, it's gonna stick and last through the wedding, and well after the wedding, because it's not being washed like your thermos and stuff like that. So, excuse me. Always when I'm recording. Okay. We're almost there. Man, this is not, maybe I didn't burnish it well. But I'm so excited to do this for her. I hope that she really likes this sign. Okay, so here we have it. This says to our wedding. And so I'm gonna line it up with this. And it's just so easy this way. I love it. So as you get closer, you just wanna make sure that everything is lined up. And then you press down. All right. And then because I cut this in pieces, I'm gonna reuse it for smaller things to transfer. And here's my other small piece. And here's my big piece. Whoa, my D came up. So you just want to make sure you press it back down. I think later I'm gonna get a tennis ball and just make sure that it's really, really down. Okay. All right, we're almost there. We have just the welcome and the name. So this is really long. So I'm gonna cut a really big piece of okay, so I'm actually going to do this one. And I'm just gonna cut it in half because I kind of remember it being about, actually it was maybe a little bit more than half. So I'm gonna do the name first because it's the longer one, and then I'll trim it down to handle the welcome sign. But we're almost done. I mean, this is easy. I think the prep for this one was longer than anything. So, and what I mean by prep was, you know, when you buy the gold vinyl, it's rolled up. So I unrolled it and put it underneath the acrylic sign, and just to straighten it out so that when I go to cut it, it's not curling up. Sure that your letters are sticking down. Now this is all connected. It is one long, like 23.44 inches welded. The Cricut is amazing because when you look at the L, like the little thin lines of the L and the J, it's gorgeous. I don't know if you can, I mean, look how thin and delicate that is. I mean, this name is just so beautiful. All right, so let's pull this up. And you know what? I'm almost tempted to, let me see. I don't want all this excess transfer tape to get in my way, like to stick down to something. So I'm actually gonna cut some off, and I'm gonna put it down back onto my paper so that I can reuse it again. So I'm not wasting anything, but I don't want this to get stuck on something and then make it difficult for me. And luckily, you know, this sign it's all straight, so you don't have any curves. So you don't need to cut slits in them per se, unless you have all this excess that you're not cutting off. So in my case, I'm gonna cut it off. All right. Okay. So I cut off a lot of transfer tape and put it back on here. So that way it's not sticking to our project, okay? But I think what I'm tempted to do is I'm going to pull this part up of the name. It doesn't want to stick onto the paper just yet. But this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just going to take off half of this or a part of this, and you'll see what I mean in a second. I'm gonna just rip this part off. I'm not ripping off the name or anything. All I'm ripping off is the backing of it. And the reason why I'm doing it is because I don't want so much of the sticky tape to be exposed. So when I'm trying to lay it down, because this is practically 24 inches of stickiness, I'm gonna see if that makes sense. I'm gonna keep the backing of this on. Now that may be my downfall, but I'm gonna try it out because this is the first time that I'm making a sign this big. So you're just gonna have to go with the flow. All right, we're experimenting and I'm experimenting so that you don't have to make that mistake. All right, so I'm gonna pull off this piece. Okay. So you see I have a lot to hold on to that's not sticky, okay? So I'm gonna hold it like this, and actually, I don't like that. These two pieces are too much. So I'm gonna put this back on, and I'm gonna put this back on over here, just so it's not so sticky. All right, so here we go. And even this is still difficult. So you know what? I'm really glad I didn't pull off so much. But the writing is here and it's just so helpful. I think that's good. I'm gonna pull this off for now. Okay, and I'm gonna cut some slits in this to give me some breathing room to pull. And actually, I feel like that's not enough. Okay. Okay, so I think that's good. So this part laid down really well. So then I'm now going to undo this part and let this naturally fall. Okay. All right, so then I'm just gonna peel off this part and let this naturally fall. Did it come out? So now I'm undoing the rest of this. And this is such a delicate, beautiful font. So you have to just be really slow and careful because you don't want to stretch it or rip it. And of course, if that happens, I would recut it because I don't think it's salvageable. Okay, so here we go. All right, that was so pretty. There is a little issue up here, and so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take a knife and cut through it and then let it, because there's a little bubble right there that I don't think I can fix. Okay, so now we're gonna take off this little piece. I can't wait to turn this around so you can see it. It's so pretty. Okay, you can see I was kind of careful pulling that back. And I'm kind of just holding this really taut, and then I'm going to just press down so that there aren't any bubbles. All right. I think it looks good. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this up, but really carefully, because if anything happens to wanna pull up, it might just pull off completely because it's so delicate. And you can see when I'm pulling off this tape, I'm pulling this all the way back onto itself. And I'm just slowly pulling up, really keeping an eye on it to make sure that nothing is lifting. Oops, my transfer paper just ripped. Okay. I don't think I can save that. You know what, that's okay. I'll just cut it across. Whoa. Okay, nothing ripped off, so I'm very thankful for that, but that was crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna put this down because I'm gonna save that piece, and then I'm gonna pull from maybe this end. Okay, here we go. And it's looking really good as I pull this up. Okay. My transfer tape is ripping all over the place, but I'm not too concerned about that. Am I out of paper? I'm gonna put this back down here. Don't mind me. Okay. Wow, it's like coming apart everywhere. Okay. All right. Oh my gosh. Okay. My transfer tape is killing me. Okay, here we go. Here's a big piece. I have one more big piece down here. Okay. Don't know if I can save this anywhere. I'm gonna leave it up for now. Okay. So I do have some tools out. I have the knife blade out. I'm gonna cut through this so that it can lay flat. There. Okay, no one will notice that. I'll flip it around so you can see it at the end, and I'll definitely take a picture. So if you follow me on Instagram, that's where you're gonna see it. All right, so let's get this welcome sign down and then we're done. We have to paint it. So this welcome sign, I mean, it's so pretty with the little glyphs at the end. Okay, so this is gonna require a long piece. And I don't want it to stick to any other piece and pull up the letters. So I'm moving it down here. I want to, all my extra pieces, I'm gonna get the glyph. I have a little tiny piece over here, which I'm gonna use to get the top part of the L. And then we just need one more piece over here. Actually, a few more pieces. That's not gonna cover it. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna turn it around. And this one, I am gonna put down all at one time, I think, because I have the word welcome almost fully written out. So I don't, I can kind of see where everything is. So I'm gonna try it. Although it might be the downfall, so maybe I'll do the same thing as before, which is tear off a little piece in the middle, right? So I think I'm gonna do that again. Okay, so here we go. So here's my welcome with mostly the middle open, so that way I can hold it right here and I can line it up to my piece. You know what, I should not have done that. So I'm gonna hide this, I'm gonna tape up this little portion up here so that it's not flopping down and it's the top part of the L. So it was coming down and it wasn't giving me a chance to really line it up without being able to fix my mistakes. All right, so I like the way this looks. I thought I did. Okay, so now we gotta undo one side. I'm gonna try to do it from this side over here. So I'm gonna hold this really tight and I'm just gonna, press down so Now I'm gonna lift up the L and get that. Can you even see? No, you can't see. Okay. Okay, and we're almost done. I have just a piece of the M and then the E. And then we should be good to go. All right, here we go. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's pull this off. And then it's time to paint. And you can see I almost was perfectly aligned. Let's go in here. Okay. But you'll see in a second, not all of it stayed so well. Pulling off the transfer tape and saving whatever I can save to reuse again. Oh. Whoa, that O came up. That's what that sound was. So just make sure again, like you're not pulling so fast that you passed a point of no return. Okay. And I apologize, this sign is so big that you're not seeing this top portion, but I'm just pulling off the transfer tape, that's all I'm doing. And I'm gonna show you in like 3 seconds, I think. Okay, it looks really good, in my humble opinion. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this around so you can see what it looks like. So can you see the background? And it almost lined up perfectly. And you see with the 3 pieces of paper, it encompassed all 4 lines and you didn't need to have everything written out and taped out. Although you can if you wanted to, but I just didn't want to, you know, waste the time if I didn't have to do that. So, all right, so now I'm gonna take this out. Okay, so now, so this is what that looks like, right? And then this is what it looks like without, oh, you can feel the static. All right, so I'm gonna put this down and give me just 1 second. I'm telling you these, I'm a big tea drinker. These things are so helpful. So this is gonna hold my sign up like so. And then I'm gonna paint white to make sure that I cover all the letters, but I'm gonna leave some space on the edge, okay? And that way I can lift it up and you can see it. And from behind, actually I can see if there's any bubbles. I don't really see any bubbles, because look, let me flip the sign behind so that you can actually see it. Okay, all right, so again with this side, I'm just going to wipe a little bit. Okay. All right, and I'm gonna pour the paint actually directly on here. Hold on. This is just white. I'm gonna take this brush and I'm just gonna do, and I think I'm gonna need more paint actually. But, you know, I feel like when it's carefree, it looks a little bit better than like trying too hard. And then you can see all your mistakes. So I'm gonna make sure that I hit everywhere where the letters are so that you can, so it has a back so that you can see it. All right, let's take a peek at this. It's so pretty, right? But I think I definitely need to round it out and put some more paint up here and maybe a little bit more down here. So I'm gonna flip it over and do that and see if I can squeeze out a little bit more paint here and a little bit more here. So we're kind of like getting a really round, oh man, I just got paint up there. I think that makes it more round and even. Oh no, that didn't just do that. There's a blob of paint and it flickered over here. So I think I'm gonna actually wipe it off instead of trying to paint it and make it even, because now it's going too far down. Okay. All right, let's take a peek now. I think it's so pretty. All right, so I can't really see it except for the mirror image, but I love it. So this sign on X, well, actually, let me see the bottom. I'm gonna paint just a little bit right here. Okay. Right, better, right, for the date. And I think it looks really even. One of these signs this big, I believe, is over $100. This acrylic sign was, darn it, like maybe $30 or $40, I can't remember, at Home Depot. And then it was one roll of glitter vinyl, one roll of adhesive metallic vinyl. And I had a lot of leftover. And I was if I had made the sign just a little bit smaller, it would have been on a 12 by 48 piece. And I would have been able to, I mean, I'm sorry, 12 by 24 instead of 12 by 48. Because I could have put the name and the welcome to on one together, but it was just slightly overlapping and I couldn't make it work. So I did cut it on two 12 by 24 and had a lot of leftover. So factor all that in it, and the effort wasn't that much. I think it's well worth it than paying over $100 for this sign. All right, thanks. Oh, let me show you what I was gonna put with it though. Give me 1 second. Now you can either put like real flowers and stuff, but this was, you know, Michael's on sale, and I'm not gonna really put it on because the paint is still not dry, obviously, but I kind of wanted to put it like a few leaves here, there, and then like a little bit like that. All right, so thanks for joining. Please email me, email me, comment, and I will get back to you. If you want to see certain things, I'm totally open to helping you with your project, especially in doing a design space tutorial. All right, thanks guys, bye.